Hey, mi gente, Ish here. Is it us? Or are we even busier now after 2020? Like, we're making up for staying inside, and it is exhausting. Sure, we could take more vitamins, but who wants to be popping pills every day? Well, Snapcrack has a solution. Snap Boost Vitamin Injections. A quick, effective way to get a vitamin in one, well, shot. Just $29 for a single visit or part of Snapcrack's monthly $49 membership, and you can get Snap Boosts that deliver vitamins straight to the muscle with a slow, sustainable release for long-lasting results in your body. From vitamin Z to B complex to zinc, there's a variety of vitamins to choose from. Hasta un hangover cocktail. Yeah, we could all use that every once in a while, right? So visit snapcrack.com today to find the location nearest you and just stop by. You'll be in and out in no time. After all, when you feel better, you do better.
Hey people, this is DJ.
And this is Ish.
And
this is
Season
Season 4 of
Better
Let Me Tell You.
¿Han oído la canción nueva del fin de semana?
No, es un fin de semana largo.
You know, I love The Weeknd and The Weeknd.
It's true.
It's really
Yes,
good.
both
The song
with that third E and without it.
the song is really good. Well, welcome listeners.
Yes. Welcome to episode... Oh, Lord. This was much better life when you kept track of the numbers.
Wait, did you, the almighty oracle of episode numbers, forget?
I'm not the Oracle. I'm not making cookies. It's episode 169.
Welcome everybody to episode 169.
And also, unlike the Oracle, yo no hablo mucho sin decir nada.
Yeah. How is everybody? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
How is everybody's summer? Are we still in summer? We're still in summer.
We're still in summer until Labor Day. Until
Yeah,
Labor Day
until
officially.
summer.
Yeah.
Well, no. That's for the rest of the world
Well,
country.
I mean like calendar wise.
Well, that's
Yes,
true.
calendar wise, yeah.
And then after, well, what I was saying was, people, I love The Weeknd, the singer, and his new song is pretty damn awesome.
What is it called?
Take My Breath.
Oh, okay. So I was gonna watch the video the other day, and then I got distracted by something shiny.
The video looks like the opening scene of Blade, which is pretty badass.
Yes. Okay. Oh,
Pretty badass.
yeah. Back when I was in New York, there was one year for New York Comic Con. It was like one of the anniversaries of Blade, and they were celebrating it. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna host a rave themed like the opening rave of Blade," and I was like, "I'm not going.
No, that didn't end well.
I'm not going.
That didn't end well.
No.
I'd rather watch it on TV.
All you need is one crazy person to think it's really that rave."
Exactly.
And, yeah, nope.
Exactly.
Nope.
No. La gente está loca.
La gente está loca para carajo. No.
It's so funny because I
love that scene.
I don't care for vampires
This is true.
at all.
At all.
I'm
Historically,
like,
yeah.
Another movie about vampires. Like to me, vampires and zombies, it's like, oh god. But Blade is the one exception.
I think the only two vampire things you enjoy is Blade and What We Do in the Shadows.
Well, but what we do in the shadows is freaking hilarious.
Yeah, but I'm saying like those are your two vampire exceptions.
Yeah, I mean that show is freaking a riot. But Blade is like so good, and that opening sequence when they're at the rave,
Yep.
Oh my gosh, so good,
Bloodbath.
so good.
Yeah,
so
they
good.
even named the party Bloodbath like in the movie. And I was
Yeah,
like, no,
but you know what?
no.
You're right. Con la gente loca que hay hoy en día, no me meto yo en eso por nada de la
No.
vida. I know that, once you're out of your 20s, you see things a little bit differently.
Right.
you
That's
know?
true. That's true.
I mean, I will still skydive, and I did that in my 20s.
right.
Things like that. But that is one of those, because you know me, you know my whole thing of when I enter a room, I always look for the exits.
Yeah. And what if there is only one?
Yes. And no.
And then they turn on the sprinklers and it's blood coming out of
You're
it.
right. Oh, you only need un loco.
One person to ruin the party.
Uno solo.
That's all you need. Dios mío. But okay, speaking of needing one person, now I know you saw this this docuseries. I just finished seeing it this week. Can we talk about Cocaine Cowboys, Kings of Miami?
How can we not?
We need to talk about.
Okay, first off, Billy Corbin. Billy Corbin has been on the show before.
And you know what? He mentioned in his interview with us on this show that he was working on this. And that was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, well, it's a 6-part documentary. Like, that did not take 2 days to put together.
No, this is true, yeah.
So Okay.
Can
Here's what I loved about it.
Okay. Can I very quickly, because I even wrote a list. Like, okay, the best thing about this documentary is that it almost reads like, do you remember on SNL when Stefan would say, "This club has everything," and then just a laundry list of things?
Yes.
Okay. This documentary has everything.
Oh, you have a list.
Cuban refugees, untold kilos of cocaine, a Cuban bakery, paralegal hookers, Mark Paul Gosselaar's Miami twin and Peggy, a theme song by Pitbull, John Gotti's lawyers, Bee Gees hired to play at a wedding in Little Havana, one of the Miami housewives, jury tampering, a U.S. district attorney resigning after biting an exotic dancer, and a woman with Angelica Houston's hairstyle in The Witches.
Wow, you took all those copious notes while you were watching
I did.
it? That is a good capture of it. That's a good capture. So, for those of you who haven't watched it, Billy Corbin, who is the original, he is the director, creator of Cocaine Cowboys, the original documentary, which came out, probably close to 10 years ago.
Easily.
Yeah. He sort of did a follow-up in the series now called The Kings of Miami, which it's a 6-part documentary series that starts in the 70s and ends in the 2000s.
Last year.
It ends a few years ago with the whole story of Sal
Magluda
and Willie Falcon.
I had always heard about Willie Falcon, but I confess
the other name is harder to remember.
I don't remember hearing about
This is
Sal.
what I thought was hilarious. You know how they said in the documentary that if you're from Miami, you know somebody who knows somebody? Okay, this past week, I've met 4 or 5 people that I know that are very close to me that knew knew somebody involved in this or knew somebody that did.
Well, Jose went to school with Willie's daughter.
Yes.
Jose remembers the day that her mother got killed.
I have a relative who his best friend is the cousin of the juror, the foreman,
the one that got the
the foreman,
the one that got arrested.
Yes. So I'm like, well, of course, because it's Miami,
right. Which means that they're also connected to the River Cop scandal.
Yes, yes. So we're all within 6 degrees.
Spitting distance.
No, 6 degrees is too much.
It's
we're
too
all
many.
with 3.
Cuidado.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah.
But I thought that was so funny because I mentioned it. Yeah, and the other day Jose was telling me, I'm like, oh, another one that knew somebody who knew somebody.
And it's not even that he knew her. He's like, yeah, she would drop me off at my house sometimes.
You know what's so interesting about the documentary, but any time that they do a documentary about about marimberos,
Yeah,
because that's really what it's about.
At the end of the
that if you are of a certain age,
you remember,
and our age group is probably the youngest that remembers, because when this happened, we were kids.
Yeah, we remember it in hindsight.
No, I clearly remember it, and I lived it.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is we were not, again, our families weren't involved in that lifestyle, so we remember it happening around us, but not
right. But I
Right.
clearly remember it. I mean, we were kids, but I clearly, my parents were always like, "Oh, eso es un marimbero."
Oh yeah, there were parties we didn't go to.
Yeah. Oh,
because in horse country, you didn't go to parties in horse country.
Exactly. You didn't go parties.
You didn't go to parties in horse country.
My grandmother, my dad's mom moved to horse country in 1990, and I remember that they were poor. They were dirt poor.
Well, because, and by 1990,
no, but by 1990 there was still some action going on. But what I was saying is that I think that our age group, mid to late 30s, early 40s, is as young as you can be to remember, really remember this.
Spice Girls
But
generation.
I think that if you do remember this and you watch this documentary, it's
crazy.
Oh, but this is how it totally was.
Yeah, it's spot on.
You knew that if somebody one day had a blue collar job, tenía un barco. All of a sudden se compran el barco.
Always a
La
barco.
casa en la Cayo.
Those are that's like the marimbero starter
El
kit.
Cadillac. Y le ponen in the house, le ponen las puertas esas that are made of iron con los leones.
The lions.
Yes. You know they were up. There
was something happening. I go Fiji.
And I just think that it's so watching it. It's so nostalgic in a way. It's like watching home movies of Miami.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, we all know Billy Corbin's from Miami, but you can tell that that's the type of documentary or docuseries that could only be made by someone from here, because he captures again, he captures the Miami of it all.
Right,
Not the sheen.
Because the thing about like the
For
Cocaine
fuck's sake,
Cowboy,
they all lived in Westchester.
but the thing of the Cocaine Cowboy documentaries is that's why somebody like Billy Corbin can do it, because he's from here, so he understands it. Is that a lot of times these documentaries that have to do with like crime or something like that, they're very much like not news, but sort of like at face value detective type presentation. But what Billy Corbin with these Cocaine Cowboy documentaries does so well, that is that he obviously presents like the newsworthy aspect of it, but it's intertwined with culture.
Right, with Miami.
Right, with culture. Because drug dealers in the 80s, whether you were involved in it or not, because my family was not involved in it whatsoever.
But we were all touched by it.
Exactly, whatsoever. And I don't mean that to say that my family, like, we're
not saints.
We're like holier than thou. But they
just weren't.
My family was not involved in it whatsoever. Like, they didn't want to touch it with a 33.5-foot pole. But we either knew people that were involved in it, or we saw it all around us.
Similarly, my family neither, pero mi abuelo tenía un taller.
Right. I could imagine all the requests your abuelo got.
I'm sure que ahí lo que entraba de vez en cuando de cliente, they knew who was what, but you didn't ask questions.
Right, but that's why like his documentaries are so good, because you can't tell the story of marimberos in Miami without the way the culture was.
Right.
And it's so important in telling the story. That's why I think he did such a perfect job in doing so, because
it was in the story of Miami in a weird way.
What?
It was almost like telling the story of Miami.
But of course.
No, but many people would come in and would not pick up on that. To your point about the nuance, they would come in and be like, "This is the story of these two guys in the drug trade and drugs, right?" Like he went and he's like, "This is how Miami. This is the story of Miami as much as it is theirs."
Think about when we were kids, how often you would hear like, "Oh, he's a drug dealer. Oh, it's just a marimbero." Or,
oh yeah, that's just what people would say.
Yeah, and it was freaking crazy. Like, I remember there's somebody close to me that was friends with somebody, and there were kids at the time. They were friends with somebody who my parents didn't want. Well, I just gave it away. It was my brother. My brother was friends with, from school. Kind of like how you and I were classmates. Yeah. He was friends with someone that my parents immediately
sabían que ahí.
They were like, yeah. No, there's no way that they can afford that house and that lifestyle with what
they say they do.
The father does for a living.
Right. Well, what he says he does.
Right. No way. Yeah. So my parents were always like, "Nope, you're not going over. Nope, you're not going over. Right. Nope, you're not going over." And one time, something happened that I don't know how it ended, that he snuck out or whatever.
Typical teenager stuff.
It ended up going because, of course, I had a pool. And something my parents found out and whatever. And, they were like, "You're leaving." So they went to pick him up and took him. And later that day, the house got raided by the FBI. Yeah.
Es para decir que parents know.
Yeah. So let's talk about a little. I thought it was so sort of interesting that Alexa Echevarria, because she's ever since she became a housewife.
I never saw a housewife episode, pero mira que para caerme mal una persona en un documentary.
A mí ni me cayó ni bien ni mal. What I just think it's funny about her was that, especially with the housewives and all that, she's sort of had a more like cleaner image, like,
okay, I didn't know.
Like a more, she's widowed. Her husband that died now, he was like a media mogul and all that. So she's had a more like, sophisticated image, I guess.
She had to trade in her nameplate for pearls.
I thought it was so funny that like in this documentary, she's like, "Yeah, I used to date drug dealers." Like, she was so like Miami of the time. Like, I don't mean that as a criticism.
No, it's just it is what it was. Yeah,
like she was so like, yeah,
she's
like,
of the time.
Yeah,
I thought it was interesting how like and again,
I like that you called him the
like a Latino Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Yes,
he looked like Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. That guy is as attractive as he is dumb.
Well, he got caught again.
That's why.
Like,
he's not bright.
You would have thought he would have learned his lesson.
Learn something. I don't know if it's a lesson or whatever, but like she did something. She said something in the series, which I found interesting, and you know what? I'm going to sound a little holier than thou right now, and you know what? So be it. But she kind of in certain moments seemed a little like indignant of like, you know, oh, how dare the, you know, the U.S. attorneys come and like, you know, these charges against Peggy, and you know, oh, they were such assholes and this and that and that. I'm like, sweetheart, your husband was a criminal. We can argue till the cows come home about whether drugs should be criminalized or penalized or whatever, but don't play the role of like, how dare they, when it's like, you knew what he was doing and you were looking the other way.
Right, but I think that what happened a lot of times, especially at the beginning, con marimberos, was that here were, you know, these people, a lot of them were immigrants who came from
started from the bottom, now we're here. Yeah.
And now we're here and we're making all this money and we're providing for my family. And it's not only providing for your like your wife and your kids, but for your parents and your brother and your this and that. And because like all these people like would buy houses for their parents and you know
everyone's on the payroll as well.
Right? Yeah. Right? Because they would help everybody out. So I think that what happened, especially that early on, because we have to remember, we have to think about it in the context of
the 80s.
I think that what happened with drug dealing, especially that early on, was that it was seen as like a victimless crime. Because at one point, drug trafficking was not the killing spree that it turned out to be, or at least people didn't know about it.
Right.
So they were like, mira, estos muchachos, as they call them, los muchachos, sí, son marimberos y están traficando droga, pero tú sabes que la gente de todas formas van a usar la droga, right?
It's a victimless crime, like you said. Yeah.
La gente de todas formas van a usar la droga, y tú sabes
and it's rich people who are buying it.
Whatever. Right. But with them especially, you know, then they were like murdering
witnesses,
and then, you know, threatening, you know, because
things got a little out of hand.
Because I felt really bad for that juror, the one that was hidden.
Oh yes.
Because, you know, they came up to her and offered her money. So then what was she supposed to do?
And they weren't offering it out of the kindness of their heart.
It's like, you're taking this money,
or
because if you say
know
no,
the consequence,
you were going to kill you. So what are you going to do at that moment?
Right.
Because the witness protection program is effective, but in the witness protection program, I mean, you have to give up your life. So you're screwed whatever way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So those are the parts of the story that obviously have to be told, and Billy Corbin told them very well, because and I actually like the way that he did it. That at first it was like, oh, you know, they came from Cuba and they did this and they dropped out of high school.
It's a Scarface story,
and they took over the
trade from
from that guy, and you know they made it even bigger and all that.
I loved his suit, by the way.
What I think is so funny about him is, which this is very Miami, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of people in Miami now that have very legitimate businesses and they're very clean and pillars of the community
society,
who did not start off that clean, who have dirty hands.
Listen, why can't we all be like the Kennedys?
That's so true.
The Kennedys started off as bootleggers, for fuck's sake.
The Kennedys are seen as American royalty. Like, oh my God, the Kennedys. La gente se tira un peo con the Kennedys. Like if they were freaking the king and queen of England.
Right.
Like, oh my God, the Kennedys. Oh my God, the Kennedys. It's like, do you realize that the Kennedys made their money from bootlegging through prohibition?
Yep.
And I'm sure that Joe Kennedy, the patriarch, was tremendo HP.
And he did what he needed to do to get to where he needed to be.
Right. So, you know.
Yeah.
That could have been these people.
That could have been them. You know, what I think is great is at the end of the day, all these drug, you know, mafia type stories, it's always about like, and you hear it throughout. No, because, you know, we were like a family. We're a family. Yeah, but you know what? You're a family up to the point where the family thing, I feel like it has to trickle up in those cases. It never trickles down. Because mismo Sal, again, we can argue about whether the government was justified in doing so, but came to him and be like, we're going to put your old father in jail. We're going to put your son in jail unless you plea. And he dug his heels in, which means that this is a person who has no consideration for anyone else at the end of the day.
Right. His father got out viejo.
He still has to do jail time. He did like 5 or 7 months of jail time. And his son did 5 years.
It's so funny because like, I'm actually glad you mentioned that, because what his dad covered for him. And I'm like,
but that's a paternal instinct.
Right. I'm like, my dad would totally do that for me.
Right. But you would take the plea because you wouldn't want your father to go to
Right,
jail.
exactly.
And more
exactly.
so for your kid.
Exactly. No. Of course.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that what his family did to protect him is so what
our family would do.
would have done.
Yeah.
And no. And look, I think that for them in specific, especially for Sal, there's a bit of narcissism that comes to that.
Absolutely.
Because, he kind of for 20 something years the FBI was after him and they couldn't get him.
He was tough one, yeah.
And I think there comes a point that you think you're invincible. And he probably did. That whole thing of racing boats, that's a very alpha, very
ESPN.
That's a very alpha because he we always say this all the time. Like, coño, if you're making your money illegally,
shut up.
Dude, be discreet about it. Shut up.
Or if you're going to have boats, don't also be the ones who race them.
Yes. Cómprate una casa, you could buy a nice little house in Kendall.
A vacation home. Maybe a little cabin in the woods, a little Key West house.
You can get, a normal 3 Series BMW que lo puede tener cualquier persona. I'm not saying that you have to live like a peasant. Pero coño.
Be smart.
These people, it's like I'm going to flaunt it.
And then it's like they were saying in the court, they're like, they have no income. They have no reported income.
That he got caught on money laundering.
They always catch you on something stupid.
It's funny because I've never really understood how you launder money.
I've told you this, right?
What?
El día de mañana, if a cop shows up at my door, knocks and says that I am being arrested for money laundering, I will very much with a straight face tell him, no. You have I will tell you right now that you have the wrong person. You can come and charge me with murder, with robbery, with anything you want. But money laundering, I've watched documentaries and I still don't understand how it works. So I can guarantee you I'm not guilty of that.
The thing with money laundering is that I guess I should know what like the elements of it. I understand how it works.
I don't.
The thing about it is you see people getting in trouble for money laundering, and I'm like, really? They came up with that scheme? Like,
it's always like it's always a Peggy,
right? Because to launder money successfully, like you have to
an operation.
know what you're doing. It's an operation, yeah. Like, and I'm like, really? Like they were money laundering? Like,
again, I still don't know how it works.
I'm not sure 100% either.
I don't. It's like, could you give me money, but then the money goes out, but then it's money that hasn't been used.
A legitimate business.
And then I have to go like montar un negocio. I'm like, no, never mind.
Just pay your taxes.
Just pay your taxes. It's, all this like scheming to live an easy life. And it's like, it just seems like so much trouble.
I know.
So, all this is because you didn't want to work 40 hours a week?
You know what? I have to tell you that
Really?
Whatever money I pay the IRS, I gladly pay it. I'm like, Nita, here you go. I'm not fighting. I'm not arguing.
Nope.
I'm not. What you want that amount of money? Nita, go
here.
ahead.
Here you go.
Go ahead.
Here you go. I can't afford it. Here's a payment plan.
Yes. Here's a payment plan.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not arguing with you. Just tell me how much I owe you and what I can pay you, and that's it.
We're done.
We're done. It's like it's like, please, IRS.
Yeah.
Please. Here you
Mándame
go.
la cuenta, please. Please. Encantado la vida.
You don't even have to send me a self-addressed office.
No, I will. You know what? I'll gladly pay the stamp.
But it's a great documentary, and for those of you who haven't seen it, watch it.
On Netflix?
I feel did you feel bad for Angelica Houston?
Feel bad for her is a weird way to put it, because again, these are people who put themselves in these situations. So it's
I think
I can't say I feel bad for someone who went into a situation and had an opportunity to walk away from it, and kept going.
Yeah, I
know what you're trying to say, but I just don't know if
I have mixed feelings about her too.
I don't know if feel bad is the right way to put it.
Because
it sucks.
I mean, I love you and I will do anything for you, sort of. But there, I mean, once you have me doing a lot of illegal activity, there's going to come a point I'll be like, okay.
Yeah, we're going to have to talk. Yeah,
we're going to have to have a talk.
Yeah.
But I think the money laundering. People, it's a joke. We don't
At
launder
least we
money.
know that it will never be money laundering that either one of us asks to do.
We file our taxes every year.
We don't know how.
Every year. We don't know how to
Listen,
money launder.
I'm more likely to ask you to kill someone than money launder.
But anyway,
Because I don't know.
That's like
I don't know what I'd be asking you to do.
When I hear people, I've said this before on the podcast. When I hear of people that have defrauded like Medicare, and it's like this complicated scheme, it's like, okay. So part of what I do, I work at the practice in the law practice is like, if we settle a claim for somebody,
Right.
and they are a Medicare recipient and Medicare paid part of their hospital bills or whatever, there is legislation that says that part of the proceeds have to be paid back to Medicare.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So if you got $100,000 from a lawsuit and $20,000, Medicare paid $20,000 in medical bill,
give that $20.
you have to, we negotiated down,
But
but you have to pay something to Medicare.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Okay. That process cannot be more complicated. Like every time we get a Medicare person, I'm like, okay, people, it's going to take me 2 days to get what I need because I'm going to call this number, then I have to call the other number, then they're going to,
And that's doing everything legally.
Right. Then 20 minutes into the conversation, they're going to tell me, no, we can't help you. You have to call this department. Then I can't reach anybody at the department. Then I have to call another department. No, it's not Medicare. It's Medicaid. Oh, I've been speaking to Medicare all this time, but I need to speak to Medicaid. Oh, no. But this is Humana, not, you need to talk to Humana Medicaid because it's different. All this. And I'm like, okay.
And that's you doing it on the up and up.
I'm like, okay, how? And I think I'm of certain intelligence. Like, how is it that people even begin to defraud Medicare? Because it's like, I wouldn't even know where to begin. Like, where do you even begin? Because it's so complicated. So then when you see these like yamas, as I said, defrauding Medicare, I'm like, dude, did you take a course like defrauding Medicare for dummies? Like, how do you even begin to do that?
It must be. It must be.
So that's how we feel about money laundering.
That's how we feel about money laundering.
Well, back to Angelica Houston.
Yeah.
Wait, what was her name? I forgot.
Madeline.
What I actually did enjoy about her, she had like a bit of like a calmness about her.
Yeah.
That even
She'd made peace.
She made peace, but she was like also chuckling. So I think she sort of has a sense of humor about it. But I felt bad for her at the end when she says that, she lost everything and like her family and all that.
She doesn't
know where they are.
Yeah.
And like, you see the totality of the circumstances that these two people brought upon
all the collateral damage.
Like 50 to 100 other people.
And start doing exponential math.
Yes.
Because, I mean, we're talking about like even this guy, Peggy, like, again, he's an idiot, but it's like his actions affect his kids, you know, and then his kids' actions will probably affect it, the way they act.
And they eventually will affect Andy Cohen.
Well, I don't care about that.
Right. Because she's a housewife.
That's true. Mira, hasta donde llegamos.
Yeah.
Even Andy Cohen's involved.
Even Andy Cohen. And if Andy Cohen is involved, so is Anderson Cooper.
And by extension, la pobre Kathy Griffin. And she just had lung cancer. Hasn't she suffered enough?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So anyway, everybody watch Cocaine Cowboys. It's pretty awesome. It's the story of Miami.
It is the story of Miami. It's an easy watch. You can watch it in like a Saturday.
Oh my God, didn't I tell you? It was one of these that it had come out, and then, I was like trying to find the right time to watch it. And I think it was on a Saturday. And I'm like, let me watch the first episode.
Right, just to
get into it, and then I'll continue it tomorrow. Yeah. I was starting episode 5, and it was like 4:30 in the morning. I'm like, okay, I need to stop. Like, I'll finish watching it tomorrow.
Just one more left.
Just one more left. So bueno. And so, Billy Corbin, you've been on the show once, but if you want to come back,
absolutely, whenever you want, buddy.
Open invitation. Hey people, DJ here. If there's something that I've made pretty clear over 4 seasons of this show is how much I love music. Creating the perfect playlist is one of my favorite pastimes. And now I have the perfect way to hear them with my Raycon wireless earbuds. You all know since the quarantine I've become obsessed with biking, and Raycons are the best way to listen while I'm pushing myself to get those extra miles. Not only do they come with a bunch of gel tips so you can listen in comfort, but they don't stick out of your ears like some other earbuds do. And with a 32-hour battery life, I can bike for miles with my Raycons without worrying about my soundtrack going silent, because that kind of sucks. Did we also mention Raycons are half the price of other premium audio brands without sacrificing quality? Well then, how about you make your own soundtrack with Raycon. Right now, pero let me tell you, listeners can get 15% off their Raycon order at buyraycon.com/pero. Plus, they come with a 45-day happiness guarantee, so you really can't lose. So visit buyraycon.com/pero to save 15% off your Raycons. buyraycon.com/pero.
Hey, mi gente. So we are back with another Pero Snap Crack Health segment, and we're here with Mark, Vince, and Vanessa. Thank you guys for joining us again. Now, today we're going to talk about how chiropractic health can really become part of like an overall fitness routine, right? Like how it's so integral, and how you guys have really managed to make that part of the community as well, which, you know, we love community here at Pero, let me tell you. So, you know, it's really about encompassing a holistic, healthy lifestyle, right? Like chiropractic can become part of that.
Totally agree. I mean, we're definitely involved in fitness events. We do monthly, like, we would actually be pre-COVID, we were doing monthly Lululemon runs with them.
Ooh, okay.
Sponsoring those events, helping them out.
Those comfy pants.
Yeah, it was really good. And then we have yoga events, beach yoga. Vanessa actually just did an event on the Miami Beach yoga event. It was amazing. We also have teamed up with Tony Thomas, Beat the Gym. Basically, he does fitness events in parking garages, Brickell City Center. Parking garages, you know, there's a parking garage. It's 1111, if I'm not mistaken, on Lincoln Road. It's on like the top level. He has the whole top floor, and it has like 70 people, and he's a monster, that guy. So shout out to him. He's amazing.
I love that. It's like fitness can be anywhere, like similar to like how you guys have locations everywhere. You know, it's like chiropractic health doesn't have to be this, let me make an appointment 6 weeks from now. Like it can happen in the moment, like any fitness routine.
Yeah, big time. Everything's on everything's on Instagram on when we're going to do our next event. Tony Thomas has been amazing to us. He does event at the parking garages. Brickell City Center was going to be the next one, hopefully, if he can lock it up.
You guys got a lot going on too. I mean, you do some yoga as well, right? Which I know that's good for like stretching and for your spine, right?
It was nice. It was like hot yoga. It was amazing.
It's Miami.
Yeah, I know.
Of course, it's got to be beach yoga.
She had the coconuts with the Snap Crack logos on it. She did an amazing event.
Yeah, it was also with Vita Coco. We had some like Vita Coco coconut.
See, I was going to say piña coladas, but yes, that makes more sense. It's more health centric.
Yep.
I mean, you can get a hangover cocktail if you want.
This is true. This is true.
Honestly, we did this because we wanted to build like a community around our brand and not just make it like just a brand and selling and all of these things. Like, we really believe in the healthy lifestyle as a whole, and really making that something easy for the modern and busy person. Like, that's our audience. Our audience is very smart. They're very health conscious, and we just want to make it fit into their life rather than them having to like go out of their way and wait like 45 minutes.
Well, that's very clear about Snap Crack as a whole, right? I mean, you guys are all about like come in on your time.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
So we're trying to do those monthly. So every month we're going to have either a yoga event or beach yoga or a fitness event. So we're going to start doing more of this type of stuff. It's just great for our patients. It's just stretching, working out, building up the abs. We did the yoga event with
Mallory Hopes. She's new in town. She's super cool. So shout out to her.
She did the beach yoga for us. It was an amazing turnout. She did an amazing job. So shout out to her.
Well, I've been saying I've been wanting to do yoga for a while, so I may have to go to one of these upcoming events. You know, that you guys are coordinating.
Yeah, you should.
And I can find these events obviously on your Instagram, which is Snap Crack Chiropractic.
Yes, exactly.
All right, I had to say that slowly because it's a lot of C's in there.
Tongue twister.
Yeah, a little bit of a tongue twister. But you know, that's where you guys have post all of your upcoming events, right?
Yeah.
Is on your Instagram.
Yeah, that even shows the events themselves, so people, you know, the patients could get a feel of, hey, what's gonna be in this event.
True.
So,
and I gotta say, based on your Instagram, your events all seem very approachable, which is very important because I think a lot of times people think, you know, when you think yoga and parking garage gym.
When you hear parking garage, you're like, wait, what is this? What is this? But then you see it, it's amazing. He's got usually DJs. The energy is just so intense. It's awesome. So
but it's great because it seems like everybody's welcome, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's the thing.
It's included in our memberships. So basically, if you're a member at Snap Crack, it's included. There's no pay. There's no hidden fees. It's just a part of the membership. So memberships, not only like what Mark was saying, you get 6 visits, 1 vitamin injection that rolls over. Also, the fitness events and the yoga is included in the membership.
Nice.
So there's a lot.
We also kind of want to like incorporate some wellness events, such as like things for like mental health and like meditation.
Very important after the last year, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of going a little nutso with the COVID staying at home, right?
Yeah, like the anxiety, the depression, like everybody's kind of like going crazy a little bit. Yeah. So we were thinking it might be kind of cool to do like sound bathing, like with those bowls.
Oh, like the
yes.
thing?
Yeah. So me and my sister had done it like a year ago, and we were like, my God, that's like the best meditation I've ever had. And we thought it would be super cool to just like host an event like that.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I love it. Like, let's all pretend we can do the sound. Like,
Yeah.
right?
That's awesome. You didn't tell me. You guys get organic
Surprise.
on us. Yeah, surprise. Okay, that's
Well,
cool.
this is all fantastic. And, you know, like I said, listeners, if you want to find out more information, obviously you can go to their website, snapcrack.com, or their Instagram, snapcrack chiropractic, to find out when all these fantastic community events are going to take place. Because, as we know, when you feel better, you do better.
So, actually, one of the things I wanted to bring up, and you know, we've talked about this before, since COVID is
It's here to stay.
COVID está jodiendo.
COVID's here to stay, baby.
COVID is like that person that came for the food and is not leaving the party. Pa fuera, pa la calle. It's
No hay
like,
cama pa tanto COVID.
no hay cama para tanto COVID. So,
Oh my God, literally.
oh my gosh, yes, we didn't want to joke
I
about
didn't
that.
I didn't even think about that one. Oh, no.
So the reason I'm going to bring this subject up is because I foresee a lot of this happening. So we've heard a lot in the last few days or few weeks about school here in Miami-Dade County that's going to start in a couple of weeks, how the governor signed an executive order saying that it's the parents' choice. The reason I bring that up is because there's going to be a lot more and more mandates or executive orders prohibiting mandates. You know, whatever side of the spectrum is. You know, both sides. We're going to be seeing a lot of that. So, Indiana University, put in a mandate that if you are going to be a student there for the fall semester, you must be vaccinated.
Okay.
And it reached the Supreme Court. And the
Already? Wow.
It did.
That was quick.
Right. No, because the Supreme
The state
Court...
Supreme Court, obviously.
the United States Supreme Court.
Oh.
Yeah, no. The Supreme
That's-
Court can take a case by what we call cert, which is that they pick a case.
Like ad hoc.
Yes. Wow. That was so properly used.
Well, I use that word a lot in my day to day.
Really?
Yeah, because a lot of times reports will be ad hoc because they're not in scope.
Okay, well, anyway, I thought it was like your Law and Order legal degree.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the Supreme Court also has the jurisdiction to pick a case. Anyway, so the Indiana University vaccination requirement was being challenged by a group of students who were saying that the medical benefits of the vaccine to the public did not outweigh
Their personal.
did not outweigh the risks that you can have by taking the vaccine. Whatever.
So that's interesting. They didn't even approach it from the perspective of their personal freedoms.
No. Anyway, so the Supreme Court of the United States did not strike it down. And therefore, Indiana University will be able to mandate that vaccines. And what I thought was really interesting was that the justice who wrote the opinion was Amy Coney Barrett, who is supposed to be a conservative. That's why I say time and time again. You can't look at Supreme Court justices, whether they were nominated by Trump, whether they were nominated by Obama, whoever nominated them. You can't see them as conservative
Like
or
a politician.
liberal. Because while certainly they can swing certain ways in certain stuff like abortion or immigration or things like that, I say this time and time again. People who reach the Supreme Court, on the most part, are people that are at the pinnacle of jurisprudence. And when you take a case by case issue and like this, a lot of times cases go up to the Supreme Court for the Supreme Court to decide on issues that it's not what people think they are, right? It's like a nuanced issue, right?
Okay.
So it's not that the Supreme Court is going to make a decision to make this legal or this illegal. No, it's usually on a very specific question. And that's why you don't know how a justice is going to rule.
Because it's not about what you think it is.
When you reach that level of excellence, if you will, in jurisprudence, you you don't see things through the lens of conservative or liberal. You see things through the lens of the law.
The letter of the law.
And that's why I wanted to say that, because a lot of people would think like, oh, but Trump appointed her. Like, how is she doing that?
Right.
And
what was the reasoning?
The reasoning is the reasoning that has always existed.
The greater good?
No. If you don't want to go to Indiana University, go somewhere else. They also there's also a religious exemption. You could also take online school at Indiana University.
That's true, especially after last year.
So there were different options. And the biggest argument...
So they're not denying you an education.
Right, they're not denying you an education. And you have other options within the same school or other schools.
Right.
And most importantly, schools and entities have made vaccination requirements for decades. Because when I started good old FIU here in Miami,
that's true.
I had to get vaccinated. I think I had never been vaccinated for like the measles.
MMR or something. I needed a booster or something. Yeah, you're right.
That I remember that I had to, when I started FIU, I had to go to the clinic at FIU and get an injection.
I had totally forgotten that I had to do that too.
Right? When Tristan started school, we had to give them that. They were like freaking on you, like over. You have to send his vaccination transcript. You have to send it for public school. You know, because they require vaccinations. Yeah. So this is nothing new. This has been happening. Pero como todo, ahora everything is political. And now since we're dealing with a society they're all infectious disease experts, right.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that because we had my day job, we had the town hall this week. And part of the town hall is that, the average employee can ask questions of the CEO. And one of the questions was something to the effect of like, will there be a change in terms of requiring vaccinations? Because right now it is required. If you want to go into the office, nobody really is. But if you want to go into the office, you have to be vaccinated, right. You have to have proof and all that. And, the question was essentially like, oh, is that ever going to change? Because, and then they enveloped it in this whole thing of like, because before, when COVID first started, I was still going into the office and then I stopped and this whole like, woe is me, like play the violin thing. And, I was telling a coworker of mine, I'm like, the only reason this question exists, this person made this question is because they want to make a thing about it. And, the CEO answered it very PC, very like, we hear you, but this is a requirement now, blah, blah, blah. It's like, for the last year you've been working at home. You can work at home.
Right.
There's an option. Like, nobody is saying that if you don't get vaccinated, you will be fired. Mm-hmm. Right? You're not at risk of losing your job. You're not, you're not inconvenienced. You don't want to work at home anymore? Okay, go to a Starbucks. Mm-hmm. Go to a park. Go to there's options, so it's this whole thing of just like, we're going to make a thing about this.
Yeah. And also let it be known that from a legal decision, there is a lot of case law. That's why you don't want to open up Pandora's box from a legal perspective. There's a lot of case law that allows mandates. Because especially after the 1908 pandemic with the Spanish flu, there were cities and jurisdictions that were mandating every citizen to be vaccinated left and right. And
that's precedent.
And the Supreme Court and various other courts upheld that. So
precedent exists.
So
precedence exists.
Of course.
Right.
Of course. So you don't want to go down that route. Right. You don't want to go down that route. I always tell you this. Since I had a child, I feel that I now can make certain certain comments
certain
that before
you don't have a kid, you don't know,
right? When you see all these parents like, oh my God, my children are so traumatized for wearing a mask. Oh my God, the trauma. I'm like, my kid is like, oh, like I want this color mask and this color mask with these designs.
It's almost dress up. Yeah.
Like,
also, you know what? It's a great step in the right direction for life because you're not always going to get to do what you want to do.
Never once has he ever objected for wearing a mask. You know why? Because I haven't put it in him. I haven't been like, oh, you can't wear a mask because you're not gonna breathe. I'm like, okay, they're making you wear a mask, then let's wear a mask. Right. That's why.
If you make an issue out of things,
Especially to children.
Right.
Especially to children.
Right.
What's the biggest question that people always have? Oh my God, what am I going to tell my children?
Right.
If two men are kissing, what are you going to tell my children? You're going to tell them the two men are kissing. The two men kiss.
they're in love.
End of the story. Next. Oh my God, what am I going to tell my children when they see this going on? You're going to tell them what it is. Next.
Yeah. Within the scope of what they can comprehend, and that's it. Yeah. It's called parenting. You're always going to have uncomfortable conversations.
Tristan asked me the other day, what's a serial killer?
Ooh, can I answer it to him?
I already did. I go, well, it's generally somebody who like has a lot of problems.
Right.
And they kill, a lot of people, and usually it's like the same type of people. And I think he asked something like, "Oh, but are they okay?" I'm like, "No, they're not.
No, they're
okay.
not.
They're not okay. Like
Fundamentally,
like they don't think right.
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, okay, that's it. Moving right along.
Yeah, I mean, you answer the question and hope.
Right.
That it
so
moves on.
that whole thing is my kids can't breathe. I'm like,
I think your kids have physical problems then if they can't breathe with a mask on. Like,
it's what I said last week, and I've said a few times. This is because here we have,
it's privilege.
It's a form of privilege
it's a
and
form of
entitlement.
privilege.
That when other countries around the world are dying for vaccines, literally dying for vaccines. Right. And here we have to give such ridiculous incentives, and people are equating wearing a mask or a mask mandate to having their constitutional rights removed. What on earth are you talking about? Like,
spoken like people who have never had their constitutional rights removed.
Oh gosh, I can't. Anyways, move on to something else.
Well, in good news, Santa's Enchanted Forest has found a new home.
How do we feel about that?
So, for those of you who remember, we talked about this, that
Yes.
Santa's,
Santa's Enchanted
they're going to have to redo that
Forest.
theme song
Well, yeah.
because it ends with the address.
Santa, ahora en Hialeah.
Right, something like that. So, Tropical Park, which has been the home of Santa's Enchanted Forest for
For about 1,000 years.
probably, essentially revoked the rental.
Boo.
And so we didn't know if it was going to happen or not. And then actually it was almost kind of like the pandemic helped because it gave them an extra year to find a place to have it.
Right.
And now Santa's is going to your kind of neck of the woods. Hialeah Park.
A Palipódromo.
Palipódromo.
So, I have mixed feelings about it. Because, first of all, I'm happy it
found a home.
It found a home.
Yeah. Because
Santa's Enchanted Forest is one of these places I haven't been to in years, but I would be upset if it.
I like that it's
gone.
there. Yeah.
So I'm happy I found a home. I think the Palipódromo was fine, but the reason I say that is because what I loved about Santa's Enchanted Forest was the fact that it was next to the Palmetto.
You could see the lights.
So you could see the lights from miles away.
It was like the Christmas season was starting.
Right, and when you would drive by it, it was so pretty to watch it. And the thing with the Hipódromo is that the Hipódromo is in the middle of a suburban area.
Yeah, you're not going to see it from the...
So you have to go there. Be going there to see it. So, but I'm glad it was saved, but I don't know.
It's not the same.
No, it's not the same. And yeah, I don't know.
You look like you're processing all of the feelings about it.
Like, okay, I'm in a way I'm happy I went to Hialeah, but I don't know. I just also think that the area I was in was perfect, and I'm trying to think like, is it because that's the only area I knew it in?
Well, but there's also the fact that it's literally right off the Palmetto.
Yeah.
So it's very central in that way as well.
Santa, or now,
thanks to
my head,
to
the
Jenny.
Jenny Lorenzo and Raisa from
Spanish Lucky Presents.
what is it? Santa's Enchanted Parking Lot.
Miami's Enchanted Parking Lot.
What is it? Humidity. It's so true. Pero se ha puesto tan caro. That is the Seaquarium.
That is... Oh, yeah. No. I was looking at prices for Halloween Horror Nights.
Bueno, at Halloween Horror Nights.
Do you know? No, but do you know how much a ticket is?
Is it over $100?
Lo que falta. Actually, you know what? With taxes, it probably is for a Saturday. It's like $82 before taxes.
That's expensive.
I have to tell you that I'm not. I don't get scared of things. I was in first in line, and when we went
Yes.
to Terran
Terran
Church
Church
Street,
Street.
I don't get scared easily. But I don't like to see people going around in chainsaws because, again,
It just takes that one guy.
it takes that one logo that I'm
that
like,
one disgruntled employee.
yes, that one who brought the chain of the chainsaw, and things are not going to end
And
well.
no.
And I remember that when we went, one of the years we went, that there were all these people chasing you with chainsaws. I'm like, I don't know about that.
We're going to call that the line.
Chase me with an axe, but not a chainsaw.
Wait, you would rather be chased with an axe than a chainsaw?
Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Because with an axe, you could duck.
Yeah, but an axe can be thrown. Nobody's going to throw a
and you
chainsaw.
oh, yeah, they can.
Yeah, but once they let go of it, it's not going to keep...
Yeah, and an axe. No, it's a chainsaw. Like, boom, there goes your leg. An axe, no. Well, I mean, I'd rather not be chased by either. But,
If these are the only options.
right. No. Oh, my God. Chainsaws. Yo tengo tremendo respeto a un chainsaw.
Really?
See, I have a plant trimmer, and I use it with caution. So, viste que...
I'm just picturing you trimming the plants, but like de lejito, like holding it at arm's length. Like,
Yeah, that's the type of stuff that, like, oh my gosh, that's like I could never work for those people that throw the branch in the chipper thing.
oh, that is so great. My dad used to have a mulcher.
Nope, that's okay. That somebody here in Miami
was very refreshing.
tragically fell into one of those things years ago.
Okay, I'm talking about a small one at home.
I've watched Fargo way too many times. Nope. There's just some things that, like...
Okay, but in order for you to fall into like one of the little home personal ones, like, and get sucked through, you have to be comiendo mierda. Because they're not even that big.
Listen, no. It's okay. Well, I was going to say, if you want to watch me, I'm going to turn my plants tomorrow. Like,
Oh, we should come and just record it for,
this
on
is how
Instagram Live.
This is how I trim my plants. Y miro la cara.
Do you wear goggles?
Yes. Oh my God. You know what I'm like?
That's what I'm terrified of with weed eating.
No. You know what I'm terrified of? Terrified. I've watched too many movies. Like, cuando it's not so much anymore because everything's battery operated now. Pero when, like, el radio se le cae en la bañadera.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I would growing up, you would listen to the radio in like the bathroom because it was before it was a different time. I just when I was like in the shower, I wouldn't turn the dial.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah. All it takes is one slip up.
Yep. Y kikiribu mandinga.
Exactly. Oye, viste que papá de Britney is going to step down.
I saw that. I did see that. Actually, just happened like right before we started recording.
Yeah. Britney Spears' dad says he intends to step down as a conservator.
Yes, when the time comes. So I mean, there's still legal hoops to be jumped through. Pero bueno. He's basically saying he's going to do it because he's like, you know what? My daughter has enough issues. If this is going to help her or make her,
Or I've made already millions of dollars. People saw what I'm up to. And
right.
It's time to go.
It's time to go, yeah. Like, but let me go out at least trying to look the hero.
Yeah, I don't know about that. You should get a free Britney flag for your apartment.
Oh, yeah. She posted, oh my God. Did you read her thing the other day when she got locked in the bathroom?
I did.
It was great. It was the epitome of stream of consciousness.
Okay, what I don't know when she posts stuff like that,
Is if she's having an episode?
no, is because she said, which we believe this, that there's somebody who monitors her account.
I mean, that's part of the course for many celebrities.
Yes. But if somebody is monitoring his account,
And they're letting her write that?
yes, like...
Right, they're not doing their
what
job.
kind of a
quote
job are
unquote.
they doing?
Right. Yeah, I mean, they all have handlers who basically run their social media. Like, I mean, most celebrities at a certain level of celebrity have a person who's posting for them because they've got things that they're doing.
Yeah.
But maybe I guess now because she's not doing much.
Ay, yo tengo alguna gana de ir a un concierto.
Me too.
But like, we went to the concert of Highlight.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
was amazing. I really enjoyed it. But that concert was very fitting for them.
Right. No, you're talking like
I want a mosh pit.
right, like like The Weeknd, who is going on tour next year.
Yes. No, I want a mosh pit. I want to jump up and down.
You want to feel like el sudor.
Yo quiero salir empapado
Yeah.
de sudor of
You
a
want to
concert.
feel like the sweat.
That's me. I like to come out of a concert drenched. That means I got my
Your money's worth.
I got
Yeah.
my money's worth and my Ticketmaster convenience fee worth.
The inconvenience fee.
That I have to tell you is one of the things I really miss.
Just going to a concert. And
Going to a concert because I loved going to concerts. Like that's something I would always go to several concerts a year, and you know,
and here we are.
and here we are. And
I don't think even any big names have really announced concerts. Actually, you know what? I take that back because Mark Anthony just announced a concert, and as he does every year, he does me the favor of making his concert in November so I can buy my mother her birthday gift in October.
right.
Every year he has a concert either October, November, and that's what my mother
he's the
gets
person
every
who
year.
has sold out the arena the most.
Really?
The AAA.
Oh wow!
The
Well,
American
that's what he's
Airlines
playing
Arena.
again. The arena.
Of course.
The arena. Yes.
The FTX Arena, formerly known as the American Airlines Arena. I don't even know why they try. When you have a venue that has had the same name for so many years, and the name has become iconic, like who do you think you are coming into like town and being like, this is what people are gonna, this is what you're gonna.
Do you think you're some kind of superstar?
Yeah. It's like, okay, like now you expect everybody to call that AAA the FTX.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. You know that could get really complicated legally.
Oh well, no, because it has to be referred to.
It has to because,
in all-
for example, in
all
San
press.
Francisco, Candlestick Park, at one point, Monster from Monster.com had bought the naming rights. So it was called Monster Park.
Yeah.
And nobody would call it Monster Park, including the press. So like when the 49ers would be playing, the announcers would be like, we are here at Candlestick Park. They would not call it Monster Park. And they had to ask for an injunction. So it
That's interesting.
yeah, so it could be it had to be referred to as Monster Park. Well, they were paying 20, 30 million dollars, whatever
no.
amount.
I find it interesting that they would not refer to it as such because usually, there's press releases,
Again,
there's everything.
The problem with these corporate names, this is a subject I could really talk about.
Yes.
Since I love stadiums and ballparks. The problem with corporate names is that 90% of the time they're terrible.
Right. Sometimes you get lucky and it goes
sometimes
through.
you get sucked because, for example,
MetLife Stadium.
in LA, the Staples Center has
Right, it's iconic.
right? But like for example, where the White Sox play in Chicago, it's the Guaranteed Rate Field Stadium, Guaranteed Rate Ballpark.
That's horrible.
That's horrible. Like, who is going to be like, hey, are we going to go watch the Sox play at Guaranteed Rate Park?
Yeah, no.
I mean, that's terrible. That's why I think that it should be, like, for example, Guaranteed Rate Field at Kaminsky Park. That was the original.
Right. You have the best of both worlds.
Right. The best.
Oh, wait, which was the one in San Francisco?
No, is where the Cincinnati Reds play baseball because it's called the Great American Ballpark.
Oh, yeah.
So when you see it, you're like, oh my God, what a great name.
They
Great
lucked
American
into that
Ballpark.
one.
That was purchased by Great American Insurance Company.
Yeah, they lucked into that one.
So that one is like amazing. It's like the Great American Ballpark. But most of them are so like really, like, this is what we're calling it? Monster Park? Like, Petco Stadium?
No, and at least Monster Park, like that's got a cool ring to it.
No, it doesn't.
Compared to Guaranteed Rate Field,
No, it's terrible. Like, again, Petco Park.
that's not good.
No, it's terrible. Well, espérate. Now the new one of the Marlins.
Lone
They
Depot.
didn't go with what we said, which we call it Hooping
Hooping Up,
Stadium.
that's true.
And now it's Lone Depot Stadium or Lone Depot Park.
I think it's Lone Depot. Yeah, because it's Marlins. It's Lone Depot Marlins Stadium at Lone Depot Park or something
No,
like that.
it's Lone Depot Park.
Oh, okay.
Lone Depot. Not even Home Depot. Lone Depot.
Or Office Depot.
Yeah, or Office Depot. No. We don't get Home Depot or Office Depot. We got Lone Depot.
Wait, wasn't Office Depot the stadium in Broward at one point?
No, it was...
Wasn't it Office Depot Center?
no, it was...
I know it was National Car Rental.
yes. Maybe it was Office Depot Stadium. Now it's the BBT Arena.
It's right. It's BBT now.
Wait, was it Office Max? No. Okay, what are those?
Well, I'm pretty sure it was Office Depot Stadium or Office Depot Arena or something.
It'd be great. Naming like defunct corporate sponsors, like Burdine's Arena, Side Field,
Mervyn Stadium.
Mervyn Stadium.
Blockbuster Park.
You know what would be great? Like we talk about like
Actually, Blockbuster Park would have been a good one.
we talk about Hopiña. Can you imagine if like the Marlins Park, it would have been named like Casa de los Trucos Stadium. Can you imagine these people like on
Well,
Fox?
we're here at Casa de los Trucos Stadium.
The Casa de los Trucos paid every
Wow.
cent they have. That would have been amazing. Like, you know what? We should have set up a GoFundMe.
Damn it. We always think of these things too late.
Damn it! Casa de los Trucos Stadium. No, we gotta see which. No, let me see. No, the main three arenas: Hard Rock, now Lone Depot, and the FTX. They just named it, so I don't think there's a big corporate sponsorship name coming soon. That would have been great. Casa de los Trucos Stadium.
That would have been great.
No, we need to do a GoFundMe. Something needs to be named.
You know what,
Casa de los
listeners?
Trucos.
Listeners, give us your suggestions.
You know what? Forget the James L. Knight Center.
Oh, okay, the Casa de los Trucos Center. I know, but poor James all night. It's like the only thing left with a person's name on it.
No, we could name it the James L. Knight.
And there's the Arsh Center.
Right.
But that's Arshed. I am genuinely thinking, I'm like, what's the Coconut Grove Playhouse?
Well, that's been closed for about 20 years.
Okay, so not that. The Coral Gables, the Actors Playhouse. No?
That's Miracle. No, we need something to be named La Casa de los Trucos Park. Or La Casa de los Trucos Stadium.
Okay, we're going to make this happen. We're going to figure this out.
GoFundMe.
We just need to find the thing to name it. Casa de los Trucos Park.
Casa de los Trucos Causeway. You know what? or no.
Great.
You know what they could have named it? The tunnel downtown that takes you to the port of Miami. The tunnel, el túnel de la Casa de los Trucos.
I'm totally picturing it like those
Spooky.
old, like those old like carnival rides where like you're going down and it's like, oh, something comes out at you, or like un fantasma flies across the tunnel.
Okay, now that you said carnival rides, this just popped into my mind, but I've always thought this. You know how like in movies and in sitcoms, they always had like the Tunnel of Love ride?
I've never been on a Tunnel of Love.
And Bruce Springsteen even has an album called The Tunnel of Love. Where are these tunnels of love?
Well, they're not in Túnel de la Casa de los Trucos, I'll tell you that.
I mean, Tony and Angela went on the Tunnel of Love, and he gave her a watch on Who's the Boss.
Yeah, I've never. No, I don't. Maybe it's like up north.
We lived up north. There were no tunnels of love there.
That's true. It's just a lot of tunnels.
What are these tunnels of love? You know, and I've you know that I love to like read on like World's Fairs and stuff like that. Like I know a lot about the 1964 World's Fair and all that. There were no tunnel of loves there either. So
where did this come from?
I don't know. And you read a swan in the tunnel of love.
Yeah, it's always a swan.
So where are these tunnels of love? Okay, listeners, for those of you
Yes,
who
we
don't
need
know,
help.
like as I said, in movies and in sitcoms, especially older ones, I would always reference like, "Oh, let's go in the tunnel of love," and it's like,
Yeah, you don't see that as much anymore in movies and
no,
film.
because instead it's going to be El Túnel de la Casa de los Trucos. Okay, listeners, for those of you who don't know, I feel that the demographic of Pero Let Me Tell You would know.
Or they can infer just from the name.
La Casa de los Trucos. Now there's only one, but at one point
In
there
La
was like
Ocho, right?
three. Yeah, in La
the
Ocho.
original.
Because there was one at Bird Road.
Yeah.
There was a couple. La Casa de los Trucos is pretty much exactly what it says it is.
Although not if you literally translate it, because it is not a house of tricks. It's not a bordello.
Exactly. You're not gonna find those tricks there.
No.
You're gonna find real tricks.
Right.
Right. So it's a store that like during Halloween they'll sell costumes. They sell like magic tricks and
Like pranks and
like stuff like that.
whoopee cushions.
And it's very much a Miami institution. Like
It really is.
It's been open for like 1,000 years. Like I think it was open before Miami became incorporated. And I always think like the one that's open in 8th Street, which I hope it's been open. I hope it opens for like it remains open for 100 more years. Like who goes to it? Like
We should.
we should, right?
We should, just for shits and giggles, we should go and like, I don't know, buy a whoopee cushion or something.
Yeah.
Or like one of those little kaleidoscopes that makes your eye black.
Yes. So yeah, we need to name something.
I know, I want to go to la Casa de Truco.
Yeah, Casa del Truco Causeway.
Because I feel like if we're going to start this GoFundMe, we need to get them
La
on board.
Casa del Truco Memorial Bridge. La... La Casa del Truco, like, let's think what else. La Casa del Truco Community
Memorial Bridge
Garden.
would be great.
Community Garden. La Casa del Truco Community Garden. I'm just no. Can you imagine if like the football stadium is like La Casa del Truco Stadium and the freaking Super Bowl is there?
That is the epitome of dreams coming
Super
true.
Bowl 53 at
Casa del
Miami's Casa del
De los Trucos.
Trucos, Casa del Trucos Stadium. What is the Casa del Trucos? We don't know, but that's okay.
I love the thought of the Memorial Bridge. Like
The Memorial Bridge. Casa del Trucos.
so somber.
Yes, it has to be Casa del Truco Memorial Bridge.
like it's a dedication to like Pearl Harbor or something.
Yeah, it's a memorial bridge. No, because a lot of bridges are memorialize something. El túnel de la Casa del Truco. Go on a spooky tunnel before you go embark on your journey on
On the cruise.
that is not exist right now because
They've started.
yeah. But I mean, are you gonna go on a cruise now? They don't have buffets. I mean,
Oh, they don't?
no.
Oh, then what's the point?
What's the point of going on a cruise without a buffet? Like,
Sure.
I know it's a very first world,
Yeah, a
complaint.
problem there.
Yeah, but no.
But no. Yeah, but no. Yeah, but no.
No. I'm going to go on a cruise and I'm going to eat 8,000 calories a day. And
not
COVID
care.
is not going to
And
stop
I'm
me.
not going to care.
So you know what? No. It's all or nothing.
That's the line in the sand that you're going to draw. That's the hill you're going to die on. Oh, yeah, bro.
Okay. Anyway, all this Casa del Truco has made me very thirsty.
Oh, likewise. Excuse me. Hey, carajo.
Are you okay?
You know what? I'm still getting over that cold. It's not COVID. It was un catarro. So yeah, every once in a while, like I just gotta cough and let stuff out. So do you want to go first, or you want me to go first? So I'm gonna keep it very short and sweet. I'm actually just gonna go ahead and give the last soda to Billy Corbin.
Yes.
For Cocaine Cowboys. In a weird way, like we said earlier, the only person who could have done that docuseries is somebody from Miami, and as a result of that, like I said, in a weird way, it's almost a love letter of sorts to Miami. It's acknowledging that horrible things happened here, but it's just kind of what's part of what made us.
And horrible things happened everywhere.
Exactly. But I don't know. I think it was done in a weird, loving way, if that makes any degree of sense. But yeah, Billy Corbin, thank you for Cocaine Cowboys, all of them really, but especially the Kings of Miami.
You know what? I'm going to give my last soda to Billy Corbin too.
Yeah,
So Billy Corbin gets a dual soda.
double soda.
I just wonder, what will he do next?
That's the question.
I think he should do a documentary.
On La Casa del Truco?
No, I was going to go on unisex culture in the 1970s and 80s in Miami. And he could bring in Peluqueria Rock.
Oh my god, I'm already making the playlist.
Yes, because
It's lots of Pandora.
we laugh at this, but that really was a thing.
It totally was a thing.
It totally was a thing. La Peluqueria in the 80s in Miami. Just like there were in other, like the culture of barbershops.
Right.
And the culture of like, especially like
The beauty
black
salon.
beauty salons, black beauty salons,
Yeah.
that are very much
It's
a
still
very
a thing,
legit culture, and it's very important. I feel that peluquerias can't believe we're talking about this. Peluquerias, especially in the 80s and early 90s, like it was like a thing.
You know what?
La Unisex.
You know what wall art I'm already picturing.
The lady, like the
one that she's like this.
yes, yes.
She had like that Brigitte Nielsen
And
hair.
you know what I wonder? Those books with the tacky haircuts.
Where
Did
are they?
anybody ever get those haircuts?
I want to track one down.
Did anybody ever get those?
Like, did anybody ever walk in and just be like, "Yo quiero el número 6"?
I have never, ever, ever, ever in my life seen anybody at una peluqueria, at a barber shop, wherever, say, you know what? Yo quiero este pelado en la foto del libro.
Yeah, usually you bring in your own picture.
Yes. And the whole experience about it, like being a kid and being taken to these peluquerias was like, there was always somebody who was selling something.
Claro.
Mira, Milagros allá en la esquina está vendiendo arete y fantasía fina.
Fantasía. I haven't heard anybody say fantasía in so long.
Fantasía fina. Y mira, Lupe aquí está vendiendo unos juegos lindísimos de hilo.
Oh, yeah. There was always purses.
Yes. Cantera,
Canteras,
right?
those
And they would
canteras.
take out la cantera from like the cabinet, like if your drug deal, like if it was a drug deal. And there was always something going on. Entonces tenía las dos o tres mujeres sitting against the wall with the hair dryer on their head.
Yep.
Entonces, obviously the people cutting their hair.
Always café.
And la chismosa. And then Pandora y Rocío Ducan playing on the radio.
On like a loop.
On a loop. Y Ana Gabriel and all that.
I'm telling you, we've already made the playlist. Billy,
Yes.
talk to us.
And it's funny because peluquerias never really smelled good.
They always smelled like
They smelled very stuffy.
stuffy but chemical.
Yes. Like
Like they could never air out the bleach.
yes. And like that totally was a culture. Like it totally was. I miss it.
Let's mount one. We could call it la peluquería de la Casa Los Trucos.
La unisex.
La unisex de la Casa Los Trucos.
We had somebody very, very close in my family he was very close to us that he had one. And that would be like, vamos para la unisex de Miguelito. And we would all go. The whole family would get in the Ford Tempo y para allá íbamos. Y todo el mundo se pelaba.
Because you know what? We were gender non-conforming back then.
You're right. You want to talk about non-binary? We were at it first.
El unisex.
El unisex. El
That's
unisex.
it. That's it.
Yeah, I remember that our friend, his was called Unisex 2000.
Oh, well, did he have to close after?
No, he closed before. He closed before the millennium.
Oh, okay. He has to keep updating the name.
But that was such a thing growing up.
Yeah.
Like
El unisex.
el unisex, vamos para la peluquería, la familia completa, para que mi mamá se haga los rayitos. Oh my God, when my mom had to do los rayitos, I'd be like, oh my God, this is going to take forever. How many highlights magazines did I bring?
And it was always on a Saturday.
And then, in esta peluquería, they always had the children's version of the Bible
Yeah.
that was always ripped up.
Yeah, what were they doing to these Bibles?
But you know what I'm talking about, right? That was
it was like a blue cover.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm like, oh, I'm not going to read the children's version of the Bible. Like,
Yeah, but you're right. They were always echado.
Yes.
They were always like ripiao.
right. Yeah. Entonces my mom se hacía los rayitos, and then it wouldn't be like the foil, it'd be the cap where they have to pull out the hair.
Oh, the hair.
And then, my dad and my brother and I would get a haircut, and my mom would they were still pulling out hair. And it's like, oh, ahora vamos a ir a lonchar. While my mom, they were still pulling out hair. Like, it was...
Have you checked on your mom? They might still be pulling out her hair.
Anyway, so Billy, get on that, Billy.
Yes, get on that,
Get on
Billy.
that. So anyway, this was an interesting episode. I guess the biggest takeaway from this is Casa del Truco is getting named. Something is getting named Casa del Truco.
We'll figure it out.
The Casa del Truco Memorial Causeway. We're not sure what part of the street we're going to name it yet, but I think it's worth a shot.
You know what? Again, we're going to figure
You
this
know
out.
what?
We're going to figure this out.
Let's change the name of the Gratney.
I know the 112. The 112 overpass.
Casa del Truco Memorial Causeway.
We're not quite sure why it's a memorial, but we're going with it.
Going with it. We want to... Yes.
Yes.
Anyway, well, everybody, we hope you... listen, laughed, and learned. And as always, remember to grab your pastelito, your croqueta, and your cafecito. And thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, yes, that was episode 169.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Cuídense, mi gente.
Bye.
Pero Let Me Tell You is co-hosted by Darian Borges and Ismaeliano, produced by Ismaeliano, and our theme, Pero Let Me Tell You Freestyle, is composed by Michael Angelo Lomlaplex, the official gay guy. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes.